The topic for today is polar coordinates. You know, in the past, in another videos in the class of geometry and algebra and different class of different subjects, you know what is a rectangular coordinate system. In the rectangular coordinate system, you have the x-axis and the y-axis. And when you have some point, the value of the x is the ordinary of the x, and the value of the y is ordinary of the y. And you connect the origin, that is k is 0, 0, and you connect for the point x, y, you have this line. You have this line, and when you connect, and between the x-axis and the line that connect the origin and the point, you create the angle zeta. Okay, now in the coordinate system, you know the value of the x, you know the value of the y, and using the coordinate system, you plug in x and y. Now, you see, in this case, I create now a right triangle. This is a right triangle. This angle is right. This is a right triangle. This is my right triangle. This angle, this value is x. Now, this here, this is x. And from here, this is y. Now I have x and I have y. Remember, this point here is x. This point is x, y. No? But when you connect this 0, 0 with the point here, you have the segment R. And now, using Pythagoras theorem, R is the hypotenuse, and x and y are the leg. Using Pythagoras theorem, you have the R squared is equal x squared plus y squared. But using the trigonometric ratios, according to this angle, this is angle zeta, this is my angle zeta, the tangent is the opposite side to the angle, the opposite side, divide the height, divide the adjacent side. It's the opposite side, divide adjacent side. This is the opposite side, and this is the adjacent side. The sine is the opposite side, divide the hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse, and this is the opposite side. And the cosine is, the cosine is this one. The adjacent side is x divided the hypotenuse. Now, solving this equation, solving for y, you multiply by r, and now you have y is equal r sine zeta. And the same thing is x is equal, you solve for x here, you solve for x, this equation, you solve for x, multiply by r, and now you have that x is equal r cosine theta. Now, in the regular coordinator, you have x and y. Now, in the new system of coordination is polar coordinator system. You change the x by r cosine theta. That you have here. This you have here. And you change y by r sine theta. Now I have now a new coordinate system. Now the point x, y in the rectangular coordinator can be represented by r cosine theta and r sine of theta. We're going to do now some example. Now remember, the first value is the measure of the segment, and this is the angle. I need to make a graph in the polar coordinator system. Now, this is, okay, I have this one, the distance from this to the point. Now, from this is the x, from the horizontal here, you create a 45 degree, this is 45 degree angle, and the distance from this point to this point is 2, and now this is now the point 245 in the polar coordinate system. Now, another example. Create a circle. The radio now is, let me show you. The same angle is 45. The same angle is 45, the same angle. This is 2, similar to this problem. But now, because R is negative, you move not in this side, sino in the opposite side. The negative side give me the orientations of the segment. In the exercise before, the orientation is in the same side on this one. But now it's in the opposite side. When the R is negative, after you find here, you move in the opposite side. And now this is the point, negative 245 in the polar coordinate system. Another example, now the angle is negative. In the angle is negative, you move the angle no counterclockwise. It's clockwise. 45 clockwise, and the distance from this point to this is 2, and now this is the point B when the angle is negative and when the R is positive. Another example. Now, this is the coordinated, the polar coordinate systems. This is the radio 1, radio 2, radio 3, R4, 5, 6, 7, and continue. This is the angle 0, okay, the angle pi over 6, pi over 3, pi over 2, and you continue all the angles. I want to plug in this point in the polar coordinate system. Number 1, I need to find the angle pi over 3. Now my angle pi over 3 is here. This is the angle pi over 3. And now from this point, I moved 4 units. 1, 2, 3, and 4 units. Now, this is now the representation of this point in the coordinate system. Another example. Now, I find the first step is find the angle, 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3 is here. Now, this is 2 pi over 3. All this angle here, all this angle is 2 pi over 3. And now, remember, because it's negative, you will move in the opposite direction. Now, the opposite direction. And now you count 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then the point is here. Another example. Now the angle now is negative pi over 2. You find the angle negative pi over 2 is here. This is the negative pi over 2. This is the angle negative pi over 2. You move now clockwise because the angle is negative. And from the center, you find 7 position, 7 value, and this is the point P 7, and the angle is negative pi over 2 in the polar coordinate system. How to represent now the polar equations? The equation expressed in terms of polar coordinate is called polar equation. For example, R equal 2 is all the point to the distance is 2. Now here, 1 and 2, this is the distance 2, but the angle theta is any angle, whatever angle between 0 and 2 pi. When you do this one, you have the circle. Now, the circle with the center 0, 0 and radius 2 in the polar coordinate system is represented by R equal 2. Okay, now another example. Example, pi is equal, zeta is pi over 6. All the point with the angle is pi over 6. You find the angle. Remember, the angle pi over 6 is here, is pi over 6. And the R, whatever any radio, whatever. Now that's the line. All the line, all the point that satisfy the angle pi over 6. And the radio, any radio is the line. Now the way to represent the line is zeta pi over 6. Another problem is how to find the polar distance formula. How to find the distance between 2 points in the polar coordinate system. What are you going to do? This is the formula. I have the point P, R1, 0, 1, Q, this is P, R1, theta 1, Q, R2, theta 2, 2 points on the plane, and the distance PQ is given by the formula. This is the formula. Remember, I recommend to install in your phone the app Calculator X. It is free. That's a calculator, is the similar calculator to the IT34 and TI-83 Plus. It's very similar to TI. You can use this calculator to find the answer of this problem. Now, number one, I need to plug in the points. My point is phi, the first point A. A is the R is phi, and the angle is 310. In another point, R is 6, and the angle is 345. Then, the first point is here. Now, from this, you find what is the angle 310. You study here, and the angle 310 is very close, before 350, yeah? This is 350, and 310 is, this is 300, 35, 310 is this one. This is 310. Now this is the angle 310. And the R is 5. Now you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a 5, and this is the angle. This is a point A. Another point B, this 345. 345. Now you study here. 345 is this angle here, and the counterclockwise. This is the angle. You move it now until 345. This is here, and 6 points. You count from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now when you point the point, this is the point. And now you need to find the distance from the point A. This is A, and this is the point B. Now you need to find the distance. You need to find the measure of the segment. Okay, you go to the formula and you substitute. R1 is 5, is here. This is 6. You substitute. The same thing here. You substitute the angle. The angle is zeta 2 is 345. Theta 1 is 310. You do the operation. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared 36. 2 times 5 times 6 is 60. You subtract. Using the calculator, you find the cosine of 35. Remember to change in the degree mode your calculator to find the cosine of 35, because 35 is in degree, no radians. If you use the calculator TI-83 or TI-84 on any calculator, you need to be clear that you need to change the mode to the degree. You need to use degree. And when you finally, you find the answer, and now the distance from the point A to B is 344. It's the same, the measure of the segment AB is 344. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you in another video. Have a wonderful day.